Hello, welcome back to Animal Otter Corner, where I bring you the latest story about Scientology and possible other cult news. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about Scientology's tax exempt status and how they first got it and how they lost it, and then how they regained it back again. But first, I would like to set the story straight on how at the council meeting that Mark Bunker was the first protester to protest. He wasn't. It was the anonymous protesters were the first ones to protest. I apologize about that. It was my mistake. Sorry. This statement came from Mark Bunker himself. So I sincerely am sorry. Now, let's get to Scientology's tax-exempt status story. Now, Scientology has about 150 organizations here in the United States. Now, not only that they would also have tax-exempt status here in the United States, it goes under Section 501. The IRS and government entities see them as a religion because of their tax-exempt status. Legally, they are a religion on paper, but is Scientology really a church? Scientology might be a religion on paper, but spiritually, they are not a church. Scientology first gained their tax-exempt status in 1957 in California. The organization would pass themselves off as a nonprofit. The commissioner had Scientology identified as a church. Then 11 years later, Scientology had their tax-exempt status revoked. They took it away due to the fact that L. Ron Hubbard was using it to inline his pockets. Then when the 90s rolled around, David Miscavige had a letter campaign to try and get their tax-exempt status back, where they would declare war on the IRS, where Scientology was really fighting dirty by using their fair game practices on the IRS. Then one day the IRS was so exhausted they just threw in the towel and gave it to them. Then Miscavige and the organization went as far as lawyering up when it come to gaining the federal government, going against the federal government and law enforcement. Then one day the IRS was so exhausted they just, like I said, threw in the towel and just gave up the fight. Miscavige and OSA has got their way. He would let power, money, greed dominate his life while in the criminal organization by crippling the IRS into giving them their tax-exempt status back. After Scientology got back their tax-exempt status, they used that status for the wrong purpose. They will use it on private investigators to go after victims in high-priced attorneys to either get out of getting in trouble or delaying any kind of court proceedings. Then they would also use it to pay street people to go beat up their critics and try and beat them up. Then would also use it to give police department a huge paycheck for one of their fundraisers. According to Aaron Smith Levin, after Miscavige would give himself a six-figure salary, quote, and give everyone else $47 a week, but sometimes they would get nothing. But ultimately, there is a way for their exempt status, tax-exempt status, should be put to an end for good. Let me tell you how you can do that. Write to your local government by going to sp space. Go to the government link, then click on that link at the state you're in. Then that will help you get in touch with your local Congress and tell them the reason why they should get their tax-exempt status revoked. Then ultimately, Scientology will always be a money laundering cult and not a religion. Nevertheless, the organization won't pass. Then the commissioner won't identify Scientology as a charity. Then one day the IRS won't be so exhausted and they will refuse to throw in the towel. They won't give up a fight with David Miscavige ever again. So David Miscavige won't use it to buy cars, motorcycles, mansions, or use it to go on a shopping spree anymore. In conclusion, Scientology will ultimately finally get the hearing they deserve and suffer the consequences by getting their tax-exempt status revoked. Now, they would use any kind of tactic to even keep their tax-exempt status. They're not using it for the right purpose at all. And usually, those tax-exempt status is used and the funds would go to David Miscavige's legal fund. Who cares about anybody else? If another Scientology gets in trouble, They're not going to use the funds on them. They are going to use it on David Miscavige. And there's no way his staff is going to get it either. Now, Scientology has been getting away with it for years. And it's horrible. But you know what? The good news is their numbers are shrinking. They got people leaving and left, and there is no fourth generation to replace the current ones, and all the older Scientologists are aging. So there is a plus side to this whole thing. So guess what? Keep your fingers crossed and hope that they will lose their tax exempt status. And then guess what? All in all, they won't get it back. Thank you for watching my podcast, My Life. See you Monday.